is this guy back here that's pretending to be asleep. Used to tell everybody I was keeping him awake all night. He would start fights with me and then run to work and say, gee, he was keeping him awake. But he was actually just strung out on meth. Well, he was putting me through all this stuff, laughing in my face because I was catching him cheating. He locked himself in the bathroom with my 17-year-old niece and refused to open the door for almost an hour. Not cool. He was in a fiduciary position with her. It's really creepy. While all this was going on, I've lost 9 family members since 2016, and that's not including people I've known that I'm not blood related to and stuff that's also passed away. But while I grew up in my grandma's home, lived with her till I was 29, lived there until 2009, this asshole was trying to make my life a living hell. My dad was dying of lung cancer. This asshole was trying to make my life a living hell. So, and you know what? He can't use his job as an excuse. I used to be a tutor at a college. This prick wrecked my car and everything else. I had found his webcamming profiles. So what does he do? The very day I found his webcamming profiles, he said, can I borrow your car? So I let him. I just got it paid off. And he wrecked it somewhere. I don't know. I wasn't with him. I wasn't with him when he wrecked my car. So I don't know exactly what happened. He claims he hit a deer. But he's destroyed every vehicle I've had with my name on it since. All this because he's trying to make his wife do what he wants. And no, this isn't about the dogs making noises with their mouth. This asshole here had someone else. I know it was a New Start, Care Now, all that stuff. I'd found stuff from them on different electronics and stuff. And the thing of it is, it was before I'd ever even heard of them. This asshole here was trying to blame me for the stuff he did. And, no, he's not guilty of bestiality. So one night he's trying to make it seem like he's going down on me, and he was trying to make the same noises with his mouth that the dogs did. Now I'm 100% sure it was him because I was looking right at him. There was no one here but me and him. And no, Shannon's tried to make it seem as if I'm guilty of anyone that's ever spoke to me like Teresa Butts. She's never been in my home. I haven't been hers. He told me at one point he didn't want me to have anyone at this house. No company whatsoever. No visitors. He would have visitors over while I wasn't home, but I wasn't allowed to. This is my house. I own it. And I do own this house. And no, my husband can't make me own up to something that I didn't do. So he pointed his finger in my face before he tried to have my daughter. And this is what he does. This is his thing. Is he pretends to be the loving, concerned husband. He does this every time he gets caught cheating. He pretends to be the loving, concerned husband. He has someone else do something to me. And then he's like, she's crazy, but I love her. I love her. By the way, this guy was also diagnosed with antisocial personality disorder. They tried to put him on social security disability for it, for the reason they thought he was a danger to himself and others, for not really having any empathy for anyone. So, just because all these people are trying to make him seem innocent now, I'll have the original records. So, no, they can't make him seem innocent. Some silly people thought they would throw away everything and then try to force Julia to prove what I said about him is true. And they can't do that. You know, I have the original records. Some people was getting really pissed off that I started, scanning them off and saving them and stuff digitally. I had the original paper records because some of them are from that long ago. Some of them are more recent. And all this stuff, a part of this about smoking cigarettes and all this shit. No one has the right to punish anyone for smoking cigarettes. My husband smoking meth. Now, I found this asshole's meth pipe. He was riding around with dirty meth pipes in a truck. He hid them in our daughter's eyeglasses case, thinking it was my eyeglasses case. His dirty glass pipe that he probably exposed our grandson, who was still in utero, to his meth habit. And part of this is where everyone makes, I've had a bunch of people say some weird stuff to me as if Julia should let Shannon fuck other women. No, I never agreed to an open relationship. He can just file for divorce, and that's the thing they've ignored all along. Is he could have moved out or stayed moved out when he moved out, and he could have filed for divorce. Instead of cheating on all that stuff, he could have got his fucking shit, got out, and filed for divorce. Now, at one time, he was packing his sex toys and everything else. But this guy right here, in his ADS uniform, is the same guy I caught. I was pregnant with our daughter at the time. I caught him on the edge of our couch. He was sitting in the middle. My little cousin was sitting on the arm of the couch. And he was trying to get her to take her clothes off. Keep in mind, this guy was 22. My cousin was only 13. Trying to get her to take her clothes off, saying he always wanted to see her breasts. She leaned away from him as far as she could and wouldn't even speak to him. He tried to make everyone think I was crazy. Tried to use our babies if, since he was a Marine. Keep in mind, this guy was a Marine. He was a Marine that never finished out his contract because he was court-martialed. Busted back down to private, court-martialed, all this stuff. And the fact that he was an ex-Marine, I don't give a fuck. I knew him before he was a Marine. I know him now. So all this stuff is if I don't give him credit for anything. I'm not going to give him credit for him saying he was ex-Marine and all that shit as if that has anything to do with him trying to fuck underage children. This grown-ass man here did not have the right to be. He was 38 years old, being a creep with a 17-year-old. He was 22 years old, being a creep with a 13-year-old. So all this stuff, everyone tries to make me think I'm doing him wrong if I talk about the things I caught him doing. No, I'm not doing him wrong. And I think it's absolutely insane. The only people I can think that would make it seem as if he didn't do any wrong, as if I'm doing wrong by saying anything about it, is the motherfuckers that he was probably giving them meth, and they would have let him sleep with their kids to get methamphetamines from him, is all I can think. So, all this stuff where he was downloading tons of porn and had dating profiles up and posting his dick online and all the stuff he was doing. No, I'm not in the wrong. So everybody was like, either you put up with it or leave. No, this is my fucking house. I don't have to leave because he wants to be a cheating, lying-ass, child molesting prick. And you know what? The thing of it is, he tried to claim depression while my grandmother was extremely ill. She'd had a feeding tube put in. She was living at my cousin's, had a feeding tube put in, everything. He tried to claim depression. My dad was dying of lung cancer. He was telling everyone how depressed he is. Now, it didn't matter what I was going through because he thought I should be taking care of him as if he's a child. So, he's been caught doing all this stuff since the 90s. They were trying to blame it on my ADHD meds as if everything I was saying was crazy. No, it's not, because I have the proof of what I have to say. Most of the stuff that went on, I wasn't even taking my ADHD meds when it went on. So they're trying to make it so either way, they try to blame it on anything but him. The thing of it is, I know what he was caught doing. I have over 20 years worth of the proof that he was strung out on meth, he was doing this, he was doing that, he was trying to fuck underage kids. I have a damn post-it note here that he wrote a 13-year-old child right in front of me, telling her how he wanted her to be alone with her. Then he would pick her up in his friend's car. We all called him Shoe. Picked him up in his friend's car. Would disappear with my little 13-year-old cousin for half an hour to an hour and a half at a time. Now here's the catcher. My aunt saw her daughter leaving in that car. She calls the guy and says, I will have you put in jail. She's only 13. It was my husband that was picking her up and taking her. Guess who he was going to let go to jail for it? His friend. He was going to let his friend Shoe go to jail for it. But he was the one doing it. Isn't that a great guy? Isn't he a great guy? Not really. No, he's not a great guy. And as far as being gray skinned, Shan, yeah, your dick turned gray and everything else. from Shannon Jean Trimble doing all the methamphetamines he'd been doing. And that's something else, is him and a bunch of other people. And I walked in some people's houses and caught him doing it. While I was looking for his dating profiles, he'd had one up since 2009. He'd had one up since 2009, pretended to be a 13-year-old boy, or a 19-year-old boy. He was pretending to be a 19-year-old boy on a site called Amateur Match. At the time, he was about 30. So, in 2018, I start finding his dating profiles and stuff. I start looking for him. He's having people make dating profiles and contact me, trying to make me seem guilty of something. And the thing of it was, I flat out tell people, I'm not here looking for sex. I'm here looking for my cheating husband. So he was having these people make one of the funniest things was, one of them contacted me, their name was Christopher Gray. Okay, one of his family had actually tried to give me these 50 Shades of Grey books. And I made a joke, and I was like, if I wanted that, I'd watch porn. And I laughed, I was just joking with her and shit. What's the name of one of the guys that contacts me? Christopher Gray. So all these people have been trying to make it seem as if this poor little guy was done wrong. He told everybody his daddy wanted this, his daddy wanted that. I was here while his daddy laid out 2 different versions of a will in front of him and shoved one toward him and pointed his finger at a paragraph. He said, you read that paragraph. Because he told his son here they had already been out over $10,000 paying out lawyers and all kinds of stuff for all the things Shannon had done. So he told his son that he was about to cut him out of everything. And the hell of it is, my husband here had demanded so much from his father. My husband asked for guns. He asked for ATVs. He asked for all kinds of stuff. My father-in-law was so pissed that my husband had got stealing from him, that my husband had, got caught stealing from him. My husband had, tried to set his dad up for smoking pot once. And what it was they asked Shannon something about somebody growing pot in some field or some shit like that. So what was my husband do? He puts pot seeds in his daddy's freezer. So his daddy gave away everything he asked for to someone else. Every damn bit of it. Why? Because my husband was always telling him he owed him, and because every time he ever tried to have any rules with my husband, like, no, you're not smoking pot in my house. No, you're not having parties. No, you're not doing this. No, you're not doing that. My husband would start telling everybody his daddy was a drunk child beater. So he would tell everybody, Mr. Shannon would tell everybody that, his dad was a drunk child beater. So Snippy finally got tired of it. And he was like, this is how, because, my father-in-law had wrecked this Ford F-150. He just went out and bought a new one. So Mr. Shannon here asked him, can I have that Ford F-150? Snippy said no. And wouldn't let him have it. But he gave me money to help me buy myself a car. Because he kept going to jail. I didn't have a vehicle because he kept destroying them or selling them out from under me. So his dad helped me buy a car so I could get back and forth to work and support my kids.